Thank you for joining Asgard in our most recent video. Today's video is the next in our Veeam series that is going to be going over how to just get a backup going in a vSphere environment. This is going to be a very common architecture that a lot of people are going to run into, especially if you are an independent company running Veeam. And we figured it would be best to just walk you through the steps to show you and maybe just explain a few of the options on each step of the way. Now, we are running Veeam Backup and Replication version 11. This video is going to make the assumption that you have already added your vSphere environment into your Veeam backup infrastructure. If you do not already have that done, please watch our video for how to add a vSphere environment into your Veeam VBR server. So the first thing we'll do is we'll just open up our Veeam backup replication server. As you see here, we already have several test jobs already set up. But what we're going to do is just create a new backup job. This can either be done by right-clicking in the environment under where it says jobs and do backup, or in the upper left, you can just click backup job. And then for vSphere, we'll click virtual machine. And then you'll give it a name. This we'll just call test 4. And this option down here for high priority basically just sets this as a high priority backup, so it will be given specific RPO requirements during the job. Generally speaking, this is not necessary unless you have very sensitive servers that need to be spun up first. Click Next. This is where you add the machines. We highly recommend grouping the machines either individually or as their roles describe. So as you see here, we have the AD test job. That's where both of our Active Directory servers are. And the way to add machines is to just click Add. And then you will expand on your vCenter. This is our generic name. And then it will show all of the machines. And we can, these couple of buttons up here can filter based off of their name or the hosts. If you filter by the VMs and templates, it will give you the folders that you have within your vSphere. And then you can just expand on one you need, and then you just click on whichever one you want to add. So then you just click Add once you have the one selected. And then you can go through this again to add multiple machines if you want, but for right now, we're just going to be backing up this one template machine. So then you click Next. The backup proxy, if you are doing a local environment for Veeam, you'll never need to change your proxy. If you are using Veeam to backup across an IPsec tunnel or some sort of VPN, you will definitely need to have a Veeam proxy server built on the other side of the VPN in order to facilitate quicker backups. Your backup repository, if you only have one local, it will default. However, you can then, if you have multiples, you can select them from here. We will just select this one we have for testing. The retention policy very quickly just changes how long it keeps images for. 7 days is the default. We will just leave that as is. There are several things you can do under the advanced, and we will be going over that in a separate video for advanced job settings. So please keep an eye out for that in our future Veeam videos. Guest processing. This is something that sometimes will be helpful to have during restores. What this does is it enables the backup process to check within the system during the backup. This is really, really helpful for handling SQL transactions and making sure those are appropriate, or handling Active Directory servers and making sure those are backed up appropriately. So by checking both of these boxes, application-aware processing, what it helps with the SQL in the Active Directory, the enable guest file system indexing, this is what helps with quicker recovery times because it will already have the guest file system indexed before the recovery needs to happen. Now if this is unchecked, the only thing that changes is sometimes it will take a few minutes longer in order for the process to index the system. However, that is going to be heavily dependent on how big the machine is. If it's 100 or 200 gigs of files, it will be able to process that quickly. If you have a terabyte or more, obviously that will take longer. For guest OS credentials, you can click Add, and you can add standard account and Linux account or a Linux private key. If you have Windows, you just click standard account, put in your username or password. You'll use the domain/username in order to get that in, and then it will save those to the Veeam machine, so that way if you have multiple machines you're backing up on the same domain, you can just use the credentials that you have stored. But for this, we're not going to actually be checking these. So we will check next. And then you will have the final page is the schedule. You'll click the box to run the job automatically. And then you select how often you want it to be backed up, either daily, monthly, periodically, or after another job. Typically how we have things set up, we have them set to run after a job. And the last job we have running is the VDI job 2. So that way when we run this, it will just run after that last job. However, if you have different backups happening and perhaps you want something to back up more often, you can just set periodically and say backup every 2 hours. Now, something important to remember, the initial backup will take considerably more time than the subsequent backups. So if you want to do periodically, we highly recommend running it without the automatic job scheduling, and then as soon as it finishes, turn on the automatic and then turn on your periodic. You can even set a schedule to run this periodically, in which you can tell it to run all throughout the night or all throughout the day, and maybe you can drag this as a grid and say denied. So now the backup will only run between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. This is very handy if you have specific windows in which people are accessing lots of data, or if there's lots of data changes and you don't want the server to be tasked with the backup happening at the same time. However, we highly recommend to just back it up once a day. However, as a customized solution and you need to back it up more often than that, feel free to back it up as often as you like. This system will go down to every hour, minute, or even continuously. And the continuous system sets it up to, as soon as it's done running a backup, it will just run another backup. So the backup will constantly run in the background. So you need to make sure that the Veeam machine is capable of handling that, and your network speeds are capable of handling that constant network traffic of that machine constantly being backed up. We recommend this only for critically vital machines to your network that you cannot suffer any data loss on. Once all of these things have been selected, you just click apply. The final page is the summary, which goes over everything that's selected. And then you have the option to just run the job when I click finish, or you can just hit finish. And now that the job is set up, you can see that it is set up to run after this previous job is finished. And it will automatically kick off when that job goes on. And that sums up for our video going over the basics of setting up a Veeam backup job in vSphere. If you found this video informative, please feel free to check out the other videos in our Veeam video series. Or if you would like to contact us about us managing your Veeam backups for you, please feel free to reach out to us by giving us a call at 888-941-9941, visiting our website at www.asgardmsp.com, or sending us an email at info@asgardmsp.com. And as always, thank you for watching.